It's our second November on the farm here in FS22 at our distillery, and although we're deep into fall, this is the busiest month yet. We'll be harvesting as other farmers contribute to our grain mill, working on our fields, and packing our delivery truck literally to the brim with moonshine for sale in this episode. Welcome back to the farm. You can find a link to this series in the description or in the comments below, and of course, check out the channel page for other farming series you might like. Welcome to November here on the farm at Shady Country Distillery. Well, our field probably looks a little bit different from when you last saw it. Last episode, of course, was October, and there's a link in the description of this video, as well as probably in the comments. I'll have a link for you for the playlist if you missed the last episode. So here we are in November. So last episode, yeah, we harvested this corn here, and boy, everything's so flat now. See, down here, it was down this direction. I was trying to see which direction it was, and the whole field's all flat now. Down here, we fertilized our canola that's growing here in the southern portion of the field. Now, of course, as I've mentioned before, and if you'll recall, when we first came here to this farm, this was all one big field, and of course, we've sectioned it off since then and built these buildings here and such like that. Well, coming soon, and I mentioned this last video, we will be unsectioning this field. We've got bigger equipment now, and as our distillery has grown, business has grown, we have bigger machinery and bigger need for more crops. So, yeah, so I mentioned that, I mentioned in last episode that once we harvest the soybeans here, and of course, yep, November, this month is the month of many things, and one of those things is the soybean harvest right here. Once we harvest these soybeans, this whole northern 3/4 of this field are going to be barren, really, and so we're going to till all this up, and this is all going to be one crop here. And so that's why I was really busy at the end of October doing what you see here. Notice our grass has all been cut, and it's in the process of being baled into hay bales. So all of this is just kind of a preamble for what we're doing here in November. What we're doing in November, well, we'll be harvesting soybeans. We're going to be, combining all of this field back into one field as it was when it first came here. And it was a good year running it sectioned off, but now our needs are simply greater. So this is all going to be combined into one field. Now, the reason I'm baling all this hay, I figure if we're going to come over and cultivate all of this back into a field, this grass was grown, fully grown grass. Why put it to waste tilling over it, right? You follow what I'm saying. It was like, why waste all this potential for hay bales that we can sell? So yeah, we'll be selling all these hay bales. There's still quite a bit of baling to do. I just kind of come through and hit about every other windrow. There's still baling to do. So yeah, that was a matter of all this, where I see grass, I see potential hay that could be sold. So all of this is going to be turned into a field for next year. We'll be planting it next year, and I'm thinking this is going to be all corn, and then our big field down the road down there, our big 8-hectare field, I'm thinking that's all going to be oats. I talked about having it half and half, but if we're going to have all this be one field, why not just make all this corn and then all of that one oats? With oats, we can make flour, we can put it into bread in the future, we can put it directly into moonshine. That flour, of course, will go with the corn into moonshine. Between oats and corn, we can do just about absolutely everything we want on the farm here. Right? There's other things going on this month as well. We have a harvest contract we'll be doing. And just like the harvest contract we did, I believe it was last episode, we're having more and more farms who have seen our success at the distillery here and are running their products through our mill, and that's the harvest contract that we're doing this month. So yeah, this month I think it's safe to say it's going to be 2 episodes. Here you can see the contract screen, and we have one active contract, and you can see this is a harvesting contract for sunflowers. Take the product to the old American grain mill. That is our mill. So yeah, there's one contract here, and then further down the harvest list, there's a few more. Here's another one. Here's another harvest contract. A lot of farmers, here's another one, are opting to use our mill for their products, and that's really cool. So I took this contract because I figured, hey, this crop is going into our mill, so let's go help harvest it. And as long as I'm on that topic and we're already in the tractor, let's go ahead and get a start on that. Let's you know what, I was going to take our tipper down there, and it's probably actually, it's not a bad idea. Let's actually do that. Now, for this particular contract, we're going to be using their harvester, and they've also supplied a tractor and a tipper. But especially since the product is coming here to our farm to go to work in our mill, let's go ahead and lend our tractor and our tipper to the job as well. So let's take this down there where I believe their harvester is waiting down at the field. Now here we're going to be going to, well, part of town I've not been to yet. Normally we would go straight up here to go to the store. Instead, we're going to want to turn on this dirt road here. Now this is taking us to the farm that, the field that we'll be harvesting. It's a sunflower field. And yeah, so these sunflowers, they're going to go into our mill. I thought we'd get started on this today, so I could try to think of some of the other stuff, kind of go over some of the other stuff that we're doing this month. But, you know, we can go ahead and get to work instead of just standing around in the field talking about it. So yeah, the field is somewhere down here. I think it's still down here a ways, and it's a part of town that, yeah, I haven't been to yet. Or we certainly haven't been down here yet in any of the episodes. There's a lot of country back here. And there's even whole nother section of road back here that I can't say. I know there's some stuff back here. I'm not sure what all is back here. Now, is this our turn? No, it's not. Okay, well, that would be the biogas plant. There's that. Yeah, there's a few things down here. I didn't know what they were. There's the biogas plant, and here's oh, there's something. And our turn is probably, maybe, is it around this turn? Apparently it's farther down than I thought. Yeah, here we go. This has got to be it here because there's a barricade up there. And yeah, so we'll be using their harvester for this particular contract. I went ahead and opted to, paid a little extra money to lease their equipment for this, as it's a fairly good sized field of sunflowers. And yeah, so we'll be using this really fancy John Deere X9 harvester. Now, so we got our tractor and tipper down here. I'm going to go ahead and they're letting us use one of theirs as well. I don't know how much we're going to need, but I figure as long as we're coming down here, we have some of our own equipment. We're going to lend our tipper and tractor. I'm going to go fetch theirs as well and maybe park it in a different part of the field. So I'm not real sure where the best place is going to be for this. I think we're going to want to do north-south runs of the field. The field is mostly odd-shaped, but it does seem to kind of run north and south. For now, we're going to park theirs right next to ours, I guess. If we need to, we can move it over on the other side of the field. Or I figure if we fill up one of these, we can haul the other one out into the middle of the field once we've made some progress with the harvesting. But for now, let's check out this fancy harvester they're letting us use here. Yeah, well, get to work with this guy. Let's get this thing set up here and ready to go. Sunflowers, let's see, this is 3 and change hectares, I think. Let's see here. It is 4 hectares, basically. It's 4 hectares. I think sunflowers are fairly high yield. This might spill into a second tipper, which is, it's a good thing we have our own. So let's get to work on this. See how this goes here. We could have rented a header like we did when we harvested our corn. We could have leased a header for our own machine. But this way, I mean, this has twice the work width of what our harvester will run. So let's look at this job done a lot faster. We'll just get back to work on our farm. Yeah, so this month on our farm, I guess it's going to be, I wanted to show you what I'd done out there in the field, how I think it's best if we combine it all into one crop, because we can do pretty much everything we need with just corn and oats, and we have 2 fields, so make 1 oats, 1 corn, right? So we'll combine that into 1 field, and I was showing you how I think it's a good idea to bale up that grass, because, why plow over a crop that we could totally, bale up and sell. So there's a little work there, because a lot of it still needs to be baled, and then of course it needs to be all loaded up. We'll be tilling over all of that. There's some general, of course, there's always upkeep with our production, which reminds me we need to make a delivery. We're going to sell some moonshine today. We're going to be going down to the sell point. Our funds are doing okay, but we could use the money from some moonshine sales. And of course, harvests like this, help us out too. Not only does this harvest pay us a little bit of money, but as you saw, their crop is going to our mill, so we get a percentage of the work we're doing for them. And, us leasing our mill to them for their use, we're getting some of that in return. We're getting a portion of this crop, to use in our mill as well, and some of their product. So it all works really good in everyone's favor. And I may see if we can do some more harvests like this month, as I showed briefly in the local contracts from other farmers. There is more jobs similar to this month. There's a couple, I think there's like 2 farms with soybean crops. They're looking to use our mill, as well as one or 2 sugar beet farms. Well, whatever the yield of sunflowers in comparison to other crops, we're able to make it all the way around this field. I've just kind of gone around the outside of it here to give us room to turn around, and we're only looking at basically 40% of our hopper full. So yeah, we may not need the second tipper, but hey, we were coming down here anyway, and I figure if you're going somewhere, why not take a trailer with you? You never know. That's like if you're going to look at a motorcycle that someone's got for sale, take a pickup truck and throw some straps in the back, because who knows, you might be coming home with it, right? We were over by the trucks, so I went ahead and offloaded what was in the hopper, although I was distracted and I wasn't thinking that, we didn't have to, but we did. It was only 40% full, but, well, I guess it's never a bad idea. We were right here by the tippers. One thing I wouldn't mind doing is for next season, I wouldn't mind seeing if we can up our potato and apple production somehow, because last year our production of apple moonshine was fine. However, this year, since we've I'm just getting the combine straight here. This year, since in the last year, we have increased greatly our moonshine production, but we haven't changed our apple production, So this year, apples and our potatoes, which only grow between July and September for the apples, August, September for potatoes. Here we are in November, and we've already used all of our apples and potatoes. If you recall, last year we ran apple moonshine like mostly all the way. We ran apple moonshine as our primary product our first year here, almost all the way until apple harvest season this year. This year, apple harvest season ended in September. Here we are in November, and if you look at our apple production and our apple moonshine, it's dead. None. What I'm saying is we've already used it all. So yeah, next year, let's see, I'm looking at this row here. We're going to want to, So this year, I wouldn't mind having a look at perhaps getting a bigger apple orchard set for next fall, and maybe more, I was going to say, see, right now for potatoes, we're using a garden. We're growing potatoes in a garden. Maybe, there's an idea. Maybe we get a proper field for potatoes, because the potato garden that we just used this year was the first year of it, and it supplied maybe a month's worth of production for moonshine. We're already out of potatoes. The garden produced them for a month, and that's about all the time it took to run through them for the moonshine. Maybe next year we can have, for next year, meaning maybe here soon, we can find a spot for a potato field and replace the use of the garden with that, because the garden produces basically nothing. Luckily, there's other kinds of moonshine that, of course, that we specialize in. Our strawberry jam moonshine is the best, and it kind of is. It's the best, and it's the most, what's the word? Renewable? No. There's never a break in that production from the strawberry jam, because we grow strawberries in the greenhouses, and greenhouses obviously run year-round. We've had the only break in strawberry jam moonshine that we've had was once or twice when, the like I ran out of sugar in the jam production, you know, or something like that. Basically, it's always running. And so right now our distillery, because we're out of the apples, out of the potatoes already, is purely running on right now oats and corn. Yeah, and this is why, yeah, these are going to be our two main crops going forward, oats and corn. That's what our distillery is running on. Hopefully we have enough to keep us running through harvest next year. But contracts just like this, just like the one we're taking here, are going to help see that through, because here, for instance, we're going to have some leftover sunflowers. Now, sunflowers won't contribute to our moonshine. No, they won't. But they will contribute to part of this crop, you know, as payment, as well as some of the profit they make using our mill. That will go for profit for our farm, but not into production, of course. And a big harvester like this really makes this kind of a joke. You know, we've been using, darn it, this, I've tweaked my GPS settings a little bit, and I need to either tweak them back or get used to it. But anyway, as I was saying, yeah, this harvester, I mean, this header is twice as wide as what we've been using on our farm. Makes a field like this. Yeah, I misjudged this and how big a job it would be. A harvester like this makes it go so much faster. Of course, a harvester like this, yeah, this is $1 million harvester, and no time soon on our farm. But hey, it's fun to use when you get to lease someone else's equipment, right? One thing I'm looking forward to is I'm looking forward to fixing our field. When I say fixing, I mean making it, you know, basically making it back into, you know, joining it back into one big field. Because I don't know exactly how that's going to go. I don't know exactly where it's going to be. It's not literally going to be the entire thing into one field. I want to form it so that it's easy and efficient to work. We'll see how it goes. But that part will be fun, is what I mean. That part will be fun to do. We'll get out there with our New Holland tractor and our big disc harrow, and I want to leave room for some other buildings I want to build out there near where our warehouse and our still is. But well, we'll see how that goes. There's a lot to do this month, of course. We should have good income this month. We have a lot of moonshine to sell. Of course, we ran a good delivery of it last episode, which was back in October. I haven't run any to the distribution point since. I think we're going to have probably about 18 cases or so to take here today. So there's that. Also for income, well, we have some stuff in our mill that we've been working on. Of course, these sunflowers, some of these sunflowers will be added to that. But as far as direct income, aside from the moonshine, all of that grass, you know, that we're baling as hay out in our fields, you know, the field that's about to be plowed over, that hay, I don't know how many bales we're going to have, but I predict it's going to be a couple trailers worth, a couple trailer loads of hay. That's going to be sold too. So that's good, although, of course, I'd like to see, you know, obviously more income. And yeah, we might actually have need of that second tipper. Actually, it looks like we're gonna go be emptying this soon. And yeah, it's only, this whole entire field is only a couple of hoppers for this harvester. But then, of course, when you look how big that hopper is, I think it might actually have been a good thing that we brought an extra tipper. Yeah, we'll save a trip. Save a trip all the way. You know, it's a few miles down the road to our farm. Save a trip down there. It looks like. All right, let's see here. But this will very likely fill this tipper here. We'll see, but yeah, I think this is likely going to fill this tipper up completely. Let's go have a look at how much it's holding here. Let's see. Yeah, it's looking like it might just do that. Well, it's a good thing we got the other one then. All right, well, no, not yet, but that's okay because the next one will. So let's get back out here and let's get the rest of these sunflowers. Man, a big harvester like this is pretty darn cool. I mean, I'm fine with our Rastelmash that we have, that we've been using since day one. But this big John Deere is pretty cool. All right, there it says contract is 70% completed. Well, it looks like... I don't know if it means the entire... Well, we'll see, but obviously we're not too far from having this completely harvested here. Well, this last little bit, honestly, looks like a lot more from this end of the field than it did. Well, I think it's, yeah, the field's wider up at this end of the field. So it's, yeah, but here pretty soon we'll be getting back to our farm. So let's get this finished up, get this loaded in the tippers. All right, so crop's all harvested. Let's get this filled into here, and, you know, there's such negligible space left in that. Yeah, that one's full. Yeah, that's what I thought. That one's full, so yep, it's a good thing. We brought ours. There we go. Oh, I thought it was... There we go. I'm not used to this harvester or how far it's the reach of its auger is. Let's get this folded up. And we'll just be, since this is their equipment, we're going to be leaving this harvester out here in their field. But let's get it packed up here. And then we'll be taking these tippers back to our... whoops, I accidentally... There we go. We'll be taking... just trying to get this all boxed up for them. There we go. All right, now these are both going back to our farm. Let's see. Let's go ahead and run theirs first. This is the full one. Let's get this back to, yeah, back to our grain mill at our farm. Now, one thing I'm thinking about as we're pulling up to our farm here is there's a lot of sunflowers, obviously, between these two tippers, and it's pretty much right kind of at capacity for our mill. Yeah, our mill, though we're doing enough business that we can definitely, you know, lease out space in our production to help local farmers. We do have a certain limit to how much we can hold. Well, let's this should all fit in there though. But this here's got to be about the limit as to what we can do. So we'll get this overloaded. It's just so cool that, you know, we're running this business and, yeah, we're actually taking other farmers' crops. Of course, we're not keeping the crops. Right, of course, we're just using our mill to process them. But it's very cool bringing this stuff back, you know, home with us. All right, so we're going to park this. We're going to park this over here to the side, and then we'll be bringing our tractor down with the rest of the sunflowers, and then we can get on with other tasks. It is a beautiful fall day out here, just looking at the colors as we drive back to the farm, and yeah, you know, it reminds you that we're deep into fall. You know, here we are in November, of course, and this is quite possibly going to be the busiest month yet at the farm. I mean, there's a lot of things to do. Of course, November is a harvest month, but not only harvesting, you know, I mean, we're harvesting, oh, that's right, we have our soybeans to harvest this month as well. Yeah, I'm sure I mentioned that. I was running through things to do in my head, and yeah, we're harvesting our soybeans, we're harvesting the other farm, sunflowers, which of course we just finished. There may be other harvest contracts that we do, I don't know, but besides just the harvesting, we have this field to cultivate, and this may end up being our busiest month. Well, but we're back here at our mill. Now, let's offload these sunflowers. This will complete the contract. And, yep, there's a contract. And then the rest of the sunflowers that went in there, that's ours, as well as some of their profit. So, let's go ahead and I usually park this here, actually. Yeah, I've been leaving this tipper parked here by the mill. It's a good spot for it, really. So let's just pull this up here. We'll close this grate up. That's good. And oh yeah, let's turn in this contract. So contract completed, $6,200. Collect. All right, there's $6,000. Well, that's weird. It says $6,200. That is weird. It said 6,200, did it not? Yeah, there was a equipment rental fee, but that was minus that because that was 700 some. Well, either way, 6 grand. And we got some sunflowers in here to work with, a couple thousand liter sunflowers. And we'll be turning that into sunflower oil. Well, I think it's really all we can do with the sunflowers in our mill. I'm sure that's what we'll be doing with their sunflowers. Let's go ahead and open this production menu. And let's see here. Sunflower oil. Let's go ahead and activate that. And then let's turn this on. There we go. All right, so we'll have some sunflower oil to work with. We might sell it. We might keep it for when we get our bakery. I'm not sure what all we can do with it. All right, so we actually have our own field to harvest, but let's mix it up a little bit today. We don't need to do that right now. We did just park this trailer here, and yeah, we do have our own field to harvest. No needs to get on that right now. I've been harvesting the entirety of this episode. We can do that. Oh, we can do that next episode. I think, yeah, November is going to be 2 episodes. Look how much work there is to do. Look at this. We got the New Holland out here ready to start cultivating. We've got baling to finish up before we can do that, of course. And we got this harvester out here waiting to harvest our soybeans. I'm just figure let's go ahead and preemptively get our tipper out here because, well, we're going to want it for the harvest, obviously. Let's get this parked out here. We'll just park this right here. For now, let's have a look at selling some moonshine. We've got quite a bit, I think, to run down to the production point, or sorry, the distribution point. And look at this. We can just drive across all our fields now. Everything's in the process of getting pulled up and harvested here. Now, let's see. It looks like we got some moonshine at the still. I know we have a good amount here in the warehouse and storage. Well, let's just park this here. I'm already halfway in the spot. There we go. Let's see. We've got a couple cases down here. Well, let's go ahead and let's see what we've got in the warehouse. Quite a bit, I think. Oh, geez. That's more than we've ever had in there. Yeah, we've got, actually got 20 pallets in there, or 20 cases, sorry, of moonshine in there. So let's pull that out. Yeah, look at that. Wow. That is, this is going to be our biggest sale run that we've ever done. And the last, well, the last one we did was in last episode. What was that? Probably the first of, it's probably 1 month. It's probably the 1st of October. Here we are on the 1st of November. So this is everything since then. Of course, we don't have any more apples or potatoes, as I mentioned earlier. We don't have any more of those for the moonshine. Ran through that pretty quick. With the increased production that we have now, ran through that pretty darn quick. So, let's back this up here. Let's get all of these loaded in here best I can. Now, of course, if you've seen previous episodes, the best I can do really is throwing it in there because of certain limitations as to storing them in the back there, but that's what we do. We're going to throw those in the back of the truck here, assuming all of this fits. I have not run this many down there. I think the most I've fit in here is maybe 18. And yeah, again, throwing them in here really is the easiest way. I can't get in there and rearrange them again. It's just limitations. But I'll try to throw them in there as good as I can. We have put 18 in here before, I think. And here we've got 20 plus the 2 over by the still. So let's see. To be fair, I worked at Walmart for a good few years before I started doing YouTube. And if you've ever worked at Walmart, so you may laugh while I'm doing this, but if you've ever worked at Walmart, have you ever unloaded the trucks? If you have, then you're probably laughing right now because this is what it looks like when you open one of those trucks at Walmart. Yeah, I'm not kidding. No, exactly like that. Especially at the bigger Walmarts when you open the doors to a 53-foot trailer and the entire thing from floor to ceiling looks like that. Yup. Yeah, we're getting about that line, again, like the trucks at Walmart, when you open the doors and product literally falls out, which I've seen happen. That's about where we're at here. There we go. I think we can fit 2 more cases in there. I hope so. I'm going to leave these doors open, and we're just going to carefully drive down here and throw these last 2 cases in. This is going to be the biggest moonshine sale yet. Oh yeah, I mean, obviously, right? By far. All right, that is... I don't think I could fit 1 more case in there without them falling out because I had enough trouble with that as it is. So let's get these doors closed. And yeah, we're going to go down there. These strapped in. 2,200 liters. Yeah, that's 22 cases of moonshine. This is the biggest one we've done, and yeah, it looks to me like the biggest that's possible to do with this truck. Let's get this down there and see what kind of profits we'll get. I do recall that this morning a message came up that said there's great demand at the Moonshine sale point. We'll see about that. Well, I just checked it in the menu, and maybe it was earlier. It doesn't look like it's in super demand now. It looks like the price for it is going up today, but it looks like it's basically the same price that we've been getting for it, which should be about almost $1,200 per case. Like, it looks like maybe 1,170 or so dollars per case. So times that by 22, and we'll be there quicker than I can do the math. We'll see. And we'll have good profit today for sure. Wow, almost drove past it. We are here. Now, I'll likely have to get out and shift some of the boxes around. It's usually what I have to do, especially with the way they're packed and thrown in there. Yeah, it looks like there's 5 cases that... Alright, so that gave us 20,000 just right there. Let's get out here and see, because there's definitely some cases that need to be shifted around a bit. Yeah, just a little bit, just a couple of them here. Sometimes they want to... It's what happens when they're thrown in there like that. But the thing is, throwing them in there like that is the only way to get them in there. There we go. So it's 20,000 plus, looks like 5 more cases like this. All right, there we go. I think that was up when it fell at the back of the truck. Come on. There we go. Was that it? That was it. So I didn't see exactly how much we had when we pulled in. I never seemed to look and see how much money we had when we pulled in. I thought it was about $84,000 or so. I think I was wrong. I don't know. Well, however much we had, however much we got now, I'll see it in editing. You just saw it. I didn't. I'll probably put it on the screen or something. But anyway, yeah, 118,000 is what we have now. Yeah, I should really do a better job of looking when I pull in to see how much money we made total, because it tells us how much money we're getting, but it does it in drips and drabs because we don't sell them all at once, and I don't think to... Anyway, let's get these closed up. Yeah, I got back in the truck. I forgot to close the doors back. Well, let's get back to the farm and continue on some work there before we leave off today. Because, yeah, we're going to go into a second episode for November. There's just so darn much to do, and we're going to have, last year we had 1 episode covering the entirety of winter, because there's just probably not going to be a whole lot to do this winter. So we're going to have 2 episodes this November because it's just so incredibly packed full of work at the farm. But we'll probably just have the 1 episode for all of the winter time, because I don't know. We'll see what comes up then. But for now, let's get back to the farm. Something I'd like to maybe do is our little apple orchard that we have, maybe discontinue our apple orchard and we'll just take it out and just put a larger one all together. Ours is pretty small, and of course just outputs apples in just a little, just the little crates, little trays of apples. There are bigger apple orchards that we could build that would output apples, in pallets, much larger capacity, larger volume apple orchard. So if we want to continue making our apple moonshine, which is our kind of our signature line of moonshine, it's what we started producing. It's on the logo. Yeah, maybe. I think that's a good idea. Before next harvest season, we'll invest in a much larger and overhauled apple production thing, so that our signature line of moonshine we can continue producing in better volume than ever. No, oh yes, our tractor is down here. I've started doing some of the baling. There's a lot of baling to be done. I kind of went through and I mowed everything, ran the tedder over it, windrowed it, and then I've gone through and with the baler and kind of baled every other windrow. That allows us, to make easier turns with it. So now we can kind of come down and Yeah, I just hit every other row, and it looks like, yeah, it looks like we're going to have a couple trailers worth of bales. The New Holland is already parked out here, raring and ready to go. It's ready to start the cultivating. But first, yeah, we need to finish this. So let's get this started baling. And next episode, well, we're going to have the bales to work with, and we're going to have our soybeans to harvest. Whatever else needs to be done for the rest of November. There's quite a bit more things to do this November. It's been a very, very busy month. Just concentrating on this turn here. Get around this nice and neat. I kind of tried to, really, and I just parked that trailer there too. You know, when I parked the other equipment, I was very conscious of where the hay was, but just now, well, I guess, well, anyway, I'll deal with that later. For now, I'm going to continue on with this. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I appreciate your views and your subscription, as well as any feedback you have down below. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next time, the next episode. Of course, that'll be November and further on in this series as we get ever closer to the release of Farming Simulator 25. And I guess it goes without saying, starting November 12th, we're going to have FS25 episodes. We'll be starting a new farm there, and I'd like to do something maybe a little different. I don't know. Tell me what you think. I'm kind of thinking that maybe with FS25, we do a long-term farm. I don't know, something maybe a little bit different. I've used this format. The format we're doing the episodes in now, I've been doing since the last map, which is where 2 episodes a week. We'll see how long this goes. Well, but again, this series, it's going to run until FS25 comes out, because then that's what we'll be playing. I don't know. Well, anyway, thanks a lot, guys, for watching. I'll see you when we get there. For now, I'm going to work on this, and I'll see you later on in the month of November.